Ladies and gents, welcome back. Yesterday, I made a video about a clip circulating on the internet of Justin Trudeau denying that he's ever forced anyone into vaccination in Canada. Now, the internet exploded over that yesterday. And well, I wanted to cover this a little bit more in depth. Yesterday was a heated video. I just saw the clip and I was giving my immediate reaction quickly before I went to work. But today I'll get into a little bit more of the nuance and a little bit more of the story behind it. Anyway, here's the original clip. Of course, Devon A. Thompson tweeting this out saying, is Trudeau Canada's first psychopathic prime minister? And absolutely, it seems like a sociopathic kind of, the way he can say this with a straight face is just unbelievable.
And all of the scientists and the medical experts and the researchers, not just in Canada, but around the world, understood that vaccination was going to be the way through this.
And well, that's not even true.
And therefore, while not forcing anyone to get vaccinated,
Well, not forcing anyone to get vaccinated.
chose to make sure that all the incentives and all the protections were there to encourage Canadians to get vaccinated. And that's exactly what they did. We got vaccinated to a higher level than just about any other of our peer countries. And that's why we had a less deadly pandemic than most other countries.
Meanwhile, we were promised after about 80% vaccination rate, we would get to herd immunity and then move on, but that never happened. But we're going to get into a lot of this.
A lot of people nodding along with that.
No, nobody's nodding.
Boy, oh boy, you know, the comments section on the live stream right now is exploding with people who are in deep, deep disagreement with everything I just said.
Yes, and in fact, the internet did explode yesterday, and the comments are huge. Just completely in shock. People are just completely in shock that someone can be so absolutely out to lunch on the reality of the situation that's out there. Now, this is a clip that I had to dig up because it really put it out there just how much what his words and his government pushed out there to propagandize the people, that it even got to little children. Now, this is Justin Trudeau's Canada. I had to dig this clip up, but it's of a young girl on Quebec TV saying, and well, I'll just let her say what she says here.
Plan de voyage, est-ce que vous avez vos vaccins, vous autres?
Oui, tous les deux, on a une seule dose.
Ah oui? Puis est-ce que vous êtes d'accord, vous autres, avec la vaccination obligatoire?
Oui.
Oui? Oh. Ah oui, hein?
Wow. On dirait que je les ai drillés, Julie.
Oui. Puis qu'est-ce qu'on devrait faire avec les gens qui veulent pas se faire vacciner?
On devrait appeler la police.
Ouh,
Oui.
oui.
S'ils n'ont pas leur vaccin, ça peut mettre beaucoup de personnes en danger. Fait que comme le gouvernement est en train de faire en ce moment, il faut leur couper petite chose à petite jusqu'à temps qu'ils se donnent et qu'ils se fassent vacciner.
En tout cas, on a des futurs politiciens à côté de nous. Merci. Merci beaucoup à tous nos invités de ce soir.
So for those that are just listening in audio and don't speak French, I don't speak French. I need the subtitles for sure. This is on a TV show in Quebec, and there was two kids, and they were both asked a question: what would you do with the unvaccinated people? At first, they asked the kids, were they vaccinated? They both said yes, they had their first dose. And what would you do with people who aren't unvaccinated? And the first little boy said, I would call the police. To which got an applause. And then the little girl said, and I have a quote here, if they don't have their vaccine, it can put a lot of people in danger. So like the government is doing right now, we have to cut things from them little by little until they submit and get vaccinated. This is the sentiment that Trudeau was putting out there in his own rhetoric, and it went through, and then also Legault in Quebec and all the provincial heads of state, they all followed suit, and this is exactly what happened. True North did an article on this story at the time, saying viewers push back against Quebec TV show where kids were forced into vaccination. Called for forced vaccination, sorry. La Semaine de Julie, it was a TV show 2 days after Quebec TV show featuring children who called for the arrest and forced vaccination of Canadians who haven't had their COVID shots. A petition calling for the show to be taken off the air was gained over 45,000 1,000 signatures. It now is sitting at like 70,000 signatures. But what good do these shows or these petitions ever do? The show's still on the air as far as I know. Snyder first asked the question of the kids, and the article goes over what I just explained to you there. The answer prompted applause from the audience and praise from Snyder herself, who said, "It looks like we have a future politician beside us." And that is, yeah, that's the kind of politician that we have in Canada. Absolutely. Just like Justin Trudeau. And this is the whole concept here of the coercion that they put on Canadians' citizens to get their vaccines.
You deserve a government that's going to continue to say, get vaccinated. And you know what? If you don't want to get vaccinated, that's your choice. But don't think you can get on a plane or a train besides vaccinated people and put them at risk.
Yeah, okay. And don't think you can cross a border either. This is the Canadian Prime Minister coercing people, using coercion in order to get people to use or take these vaccines. This is not forcing people. Coercion is force. Coercion is the use of force.
Apologize for being unequivocal that vaccines are the way through this. And if you make a choice, a personal choice, to not get vaccinated, then I will have no sympathy for you when you come to me and said, oh, but I can't go out to a restaurant with my friends, or I'm not being allowed to go to the gym, or my employer is telling me I have to continue to work from home.
Or not work at all. These are the little things that we have to take away little by little by little until they submit. It's coercion. Here's another clip from Trudeau on another French TV show.
Oui, on va s'en sortir de cette pandémie par la vaccination. Puis on en connaît tous des gens qui sont en train d'hésiter un petit peu. On va continuer d'essayer de les convaincre. Mais il y a aussi des gens qui sont farouchement opposés à la vaccination.
Ils sont extrémistes.
Qui croient pas dans la science, qui sont souvent misogynes, souvent racistes aussi. C'est un petit groupe, mais qui prend de la place. Et là, il faut faire un choix en tant que leader, en tant que pays. Est-ce qu'on tolère ces gens-là ou est-ce qu'on dit, ben voyons, la plupart des gens, presque 80% des Québécois ont fait ce qu'il fallait.
So for those that, again, are listening audio only and don't speak French, here's what he said. We're going to end this pandemic by proceeding with the vaccination. There's still part of the population that fiercely is against it. They don't believe in science or progress, and they're very often misogynistic and racist. They take up space. This leads us, and as a leader and as a country, to make the choice. Do we tolerate these people? This is Justin Trudeau and the things that he had to say. And then, of course, when the convoy started, there was a freedom convoy, the convoy of truckers, that had enough and said they were going to Ottawa to protest. And, well, this is what he had to say about them and their views.
The small fringe minority of people who are on their way to Ottawa or who are holding unacceptable views that they're expressing do not represent the views of Canadians who have been there for each other, who know that following the science and stepping up to protect each other is the best way to continue to ensure our freedoms, our rights, our values as a country.
So, yeah, not stepping up for anybody. So, well, these were the truckers that stepped up for everybody, and had a really hard time through the pandemic. And as soon as they had any sort of thing, the Trudeau government, obviously, they had no tolerance for them whatsoever. Now, a lot of people misunderstanding what the convoy was all about. So I put this out there at the time. Said, in case any of you are confused, there's a group of truckers in Canada who are 90% vaccinated amongst them, protesting government overreach and citizens being tracked with QR codes. But if you hear otherwise, you might be being lied to. So this is really, it really comes down to the fact that this is right around the time that they introduced the Arrive Can app that was actually intruding in truck drivers' lives as they were crossing borders. Many of them crossed the borders. Many of them were vaccinated and had cross-border travel already, but the government was implementing new draconian measures onto them despite everything that they went along with, and they just had enough, and they said, forget this. We're not backdooring any of these, totalitarian ideas in with COVID, and we're going to put an end to these mandates. And that's exactly what happened at the time. Now, Trudeau's, he has a whole clip here, and I could go over the entirety of it, but I'll leave a link in the pinned comment or in the description down below so you can check it out. But he's talking about mis and disinformation, the likes of that we've never seen more of than from the government themselves. Here's a little bit of the disinformation that we've heard from the government.
The Pfizer COVID vaccine tested on stopping the transmission of the virus before it entered the market.
Did we know about stopping immunization before it entered the market? No. We had to really move at the speed of science to really understand what is taking place in the market.
These documents were signed.
So just so you know, this is another awesome mix-up that is a compilation of clips that Viva Frei put out there, and that's I'm gonna put that. It'll be in the link in the links in the description down below, so you can check that out for yourself. But yes, the main misinformation that was put out there was the idea that we would be stopping the transmission. We can't stop the transmission with this. And if that is not the case, then there is no even reason for this to be out there. And it seems like they knew this early on. They knew that it wasn't stopping any transmission. And this was the only reason why they were forcing along this vaccine. Now, of course, here's another clip from Viva Frei's mashup, his supercut.
We're not a country that makes vaccination mandatory.
I believe the vaccines should be mandatory. But I make a distinction, and I have always have, between someone choosing for personal reasons. Exemptions will be exceedingly narrow and, to be honest, somewhat onerous to obtain. But I make a distinction, and I have always have, between someone choosing for personal reasons. Simply having a personal conviction that vaccines are bad will not be nearly enough to qualify for an exemption to that. And someone deliberately using misinformation to mislead and scare other people with so-called facts that aren't facts at all.
A very small risk, 1 in 5,000, that may get myocarditis, for example.
That lead them to make a choice that endangers their lives and the lives of other citizens.
And the lives of other citizens.
Did we know about stopping immunization before it entered the market?
No, they didn't know about this. And this is the main crux of it. Justin Trudeau blatantly lying to people in this audience and lying to people. He knows, obviously, this is being recorded. He comments about the fact that the internet will be commenting on this speech of his. But hey, I'm going to leave this one up to you guys. Leave a comment in the comment section down below. Did I miss anything? Of course, there's so much that happened in the past 3 years. It's unbelievable how much happened and how hard it is to pull up all the clips about all of these things. But of course, this one going viral, and this one is really just infuriating. It's really difficult to listen. We're all waiting for another election, which of course could be called at any moment if Jimmy McJuggernuggets, Jagmeet Singh, were to man up, and he could unilaterally, he's the one man standing in the way of getting this guy out of office. So anyway, leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think, and we'll see you in the next one. Keep on trucking.